Maybe niggas is scared to hustle because niggas is snitching so much. Maybe that's what's going on. I would be scared to hustle too when I know that every other nigga is snitching just so he don't want to do no time because he can't bear to be inside the jail system.
Jim Jones, who is Jim Jones? Like, he's not on anyone's top 10 list. He's like no one's top 10 list, maybe not even his family.
Jim Jones is listed as a federal informant in court documents in the case against Tekashi. In the original court transcripts that were previously released online, the conversation between individual 1, Jim Jones, is listed as cooperating with federal agents in a conversation with Jamal Murder Jones, which would explain why Jim Jones has been able to have such a lengthy criminal record and avoid prison time in the past.
An old audio of Jay-Z just dropped, and in it he's throwing serious shade at Jim Jones, calling him a straight-up snitch. But here's the wild twist. Jay-Z's own top executive at Roc Nation, she's officially confirmed to be a federal informant. So what's really going on here? And why is Jim Jones suddenly back in the spotlight? Just recently, Jim stirred the pot big time with some bold comments about Nas. And ever since, all his past drama has come crawling back. People started digging up old receipts and, yep, there's paperwork out there showing Jim allegedly worked with the feds. But here's the real head scratcher. If Jay is so against snitches, how come his closest Roc Nation partner is known to be one? And why did he go ahead and sign Jim Jones to Roc Nation if he believed Jim wasn't solid? Something ain't adding up.
As we can tell, there's no expense being spared. We had a black billionaire's lunch. Yeah. You understand?
Right.
And we here together.
I think we passed kneeling.
Let me play it again. This time, look at the reaction of the lady sat just behind him. The reason why she's worried about how Jay would respond is because she's the CEO of Roc Nation. But in her former life, she was a federal informant.
Now let's talk about the leaked audio that started this whole mess. In the resurfaced clip, Jay-Z doesn't hold back. He calls Jim a fake rapper who doesn't even count as a peer in the industry. According to Jay, Jim's real role has nothing to do with music. It's something else entirely. What did he mean by that?
Hip-hop, of course, you know, is a competitive sport. But on the other end of it, it's like certain people shouldn't be able to say your names until they done something in the genre of music. I've done too much in this music to even have to answer that question. Like, Jim Jones, who is Jim Jones? Like, he's not on anyone's top 10 list. He's like no one's top 10 list, maybe not even his family. I was saying last night, it's like the 8th guy on the bench just screaming at Jordan, like, you a bum. Like, you like the 9th guy on the bench. I'm not even worried about you.
So, did Jay-Z know something shady about Jim Jones before the rest of the world caught on? If Jay was really calling Jim a fake rapper and low-key labeling him an informant, then why would he go ahead and bring him into Roc Nation? That move got folks scratching their heads. Let's get into these snitching rumors around Jim Jones. They've been swirling for years, but leave it to 50 Cent to throw gasoline on it. 50 posted a pic on Instagram of Jim standing next to Jay-Z, Diddy, Fat Joe, and a few others. The caption, LOL individual one calling the shots out here. I know you working, so please don't say gangsterish to me, individual one. That's a heavy shot, and it ain't subtle. Now, if you're confused about what individual one means, it all goes back to the messy Tekashi 6ix9ine case. When Tekashi hit the stand and started testifying on his 9-tray blood gang, things got crazy. A wiretap call came out, and guess who was on it? Jim Jones. He was allegedly caught saying Tekashi ain't a gang member no more and that he needs to be violated. People went nuts. And just like that, 50 Cent posted the full transcript of that call, no mercy. Back in 2018, Tekashi got hit with federal racketeering and gun charges, along with a bunch of other 9-tray members, a crew known to be real violent and tied to the Bloods. The feds had been stacking evidence for a while, and once they got Tekashi, he flipped fast. Dude started cooperating instantly to save himself with a deal.
Brooklyn rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine pleaded guilty to federal charges, admitting he participated in a violent gang. He also pledged to cooperate with prosecutors. The rapper, whose legal name is Daniel Hernandez, said he joined the 9-tray Blood gang in the fall of 2017. He says he helped them try to kill a rival gang member last March. Prosecutors say the gang carried out acts of murder, robbery, and narcotics trafficking in Manhattan, the Bronx, and Brooklyn. The indictment also said each gang member was required to participate in at least 2 acts of racketeering conspiracy. which could include murder, robbery, extortion, or drug distribution. The plea deal could allow Hernandez leniency at sentencing. He was facing a mandatory 47-year prison sentence.
And that's when all eyes turned to who else might have been helping the feds behind the scenes. So during Tekashi's full-blown courtroom confession session back in September 2019, he hit the stand and dropped names like it was nothing. He called out Anthony Harv Ellison, Al Jeremiah, Nuke Mack, and a few more heavy 9-tray hitters, basically snitching on the whole operation. He laid out the crew's whole playbook for the feds to hear, all their dirty moves right out in the open. Now here's where Jim Jones gets tangled up in the mess. His name came up during the actual trial in a wiretap that stunned the courtroom. On the leaked call, Jim was allegedly chopping it up with Jamel Mel Murda Jones, another high-ranking 9-tray figure. And what were they talking about? Tekashi, of course. In that convo, it sounded like they were plotting how to deal with Tekashi after he went public about ditching the gang.
He definitely humiliating Shotty right now. But.
Well, you got the picture up there next to the post. You know, like when you go to YouTube and World Star, they got his picture next to this. Hey, everything he say, they got a split screen with Shotty picture next to this. I said, this is crazy, son. But he's doing that to make K9 think he don't got no relationship with Boy. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to live. He's trying to separate himself.
That's cool, but now he gotta get violated.
Yeah, super violated. Super duper. So ain't too much he can really do unless he gonna run around with 100 armed securities all day. You know what I'm saying? He gonna get shot at Penn.
He ain't getting enough money for that.
That's a fact. And he just canceled all his shows.
And he ain't a gang member no more.
Nah, he ain't nothing.
That's what Shotty needs to make sure he do.
Nah,
we tell that he's not a gang member no more. He kicked out the whip. He was never a gang member. Shotty need to expose him.
And Jim, he was allegedly hinting at straight-up retaliation. Something serious. That audio had everybody like, wait, what? But the biggest shock wasn't even what was said. It was what didn't happen after. Jim was on a federal wiretap talking gang stuff with key 9-tray members. And somehow, he walked away without a single charge? That raised some real eyebrows. Naturally, the street started whispering. How does Jim get caught on tape talking about violating someone and still be the only 9-tray affiliate who stays untouched by the law? That's when the rumor mill really kicked in, with talk that Jim might have been working with the feds behind the scenes, or at least saying just enough to keep himself in the clear. And no one pushed that theory harder than Whack 100. He went all in, flat out calling Jim a federal informant and claiming the only reason Jim didn't get cuffed was because he was cooperating with law enforcement. Whack 100 didn't let up at all. He doubled down on Clubhouse and in interviews, even when he was face-to-face with Tekashi. Whack flat out dared Jim Jones to clear his name and drop real proof that he wasn't working with the feds. He said, show the receipts if you're really not cooperating.
Jim Jones, right? He ran with the same I ran with a decade before I met him. Jim Jones, the Dipset, the that was just over there dancing on verses. Jim Jones was running with Shotty, Cafano Jordan, right? Mel Matrix, Jamel Jones, Ro Murder, Roland Martin. He was running Fu Banger, Fuquan. I forgot his last name, Fuquan something. He was running with all of the cats I ran with and got in daddy for. You know what Jim Jones did? That nigga did not take care of none of them. Cause when I ran to them, Shotty was sleeping on the rug on Madison between Tompkins and Troop. Mel Murder was on Gates and Marcus Garvey with his baby mother. Roland Martin was just doing 9 years. He blew trial. That made them. That take care of them. From Shotty was sleeping on the rug. That dropping a 6'3" Benz in 6 months, living in a condo, doing meetings with Kanye. Kanye was taking him to Yeezy meetings, board meetings. Matrix had his own, everything on his own. His kids was eating. Roland Martin came home to a new AP, watch, money, cars, everything. That Jim Jones did not take care of none of his. I took care of him. And on top of that, Jim Jones was caught on wiretap telling Jamel, look, Jim Jones was caught on Jim Jones was caught on wiretap. Jim Jones was caught on wiretap on my case, he was telling the the big homie Mel Matrix, John Mel Jones, to go and get rid of my security. How you do it? How you shoot at them? They don't got no license to carry weapons, don't nothing in New York.
Wack also agrees with him and says that you can find the audio online because it was used in the trial. 6ix9ine and Wack both question why Jim Jones isn't in jail if he was caught on tape saying he was going to kill 6ix9ine, suggesting that he must have cooperated in the trial. 6ix9ine also starts making some accusations about Desiree Perez, the CEO of Roc Nation, but Wack shuts him down before he can say too much.
But guess what? Crickets. And just when things were already heating up, former Dipset member Jaja came through and poured more gas on the flames. She claimed she had receipts that Jim actually set up his own friend, Mel Murder. That right there sent shockwaves. If true, that's a cold move.
Jimmy, Detective Jones, people that splash brand do not f with no informants. I did 4 years in the feds, homie, because I ain't snitch. You set your best friend up on a wiretap. See, Wack 100 and Tekashi, they don't got receipts like that because they really don't know. I know.
So now that we've unpacked all this Jim's a snitch noise, let's circle back to Jay-Z. Because to really understand why Jay might have set Jim up for a public fallout, you gotta look at the real history between them. That beef runs deep, like decades deep. Jay and Jim Jones been at odds since the early 2000s. It all kicked off around 2002 when Dame Dash brought Cameron and Jim into Rockefeller. Things got tense quick after Jim said Cam was promised a VP position at the label. But Jay, he never confirmed any of that. In fact, he told the source back then, that's not taking effect as of yet. It's a little premature. And to make things even messier, this was all happening during Jay's legendary beef with Nas. So what did Jay do? He hopped on a remix of Cameron and Jules Santana's hit Oh Boy, using their track to throw shots at Nas. But Cam and Jim weren't with it at all. They shut it down, refused to release the remix. Cam even cut Jay's verse off the song entirely. Later, Cam said straight up he wasn't about to let Jay use their record to handle his personal battles. The tension was real.
I did a little something for you in the studio. Then he had something to Oh Boy.
This is Oh Boy's already #1?
Yeah, it's popping.
All right.
Yeah, I listened to it and I was like, erase that shit.
That moment set the vibe for everything that came next. Cam and Jim felt disrespected by Jay-Z, like he thought he was above them. And once that feeling set in, the sneak disses started flying. Jim Jones started taking jabs at Jay every chance he got in interviews on the radio, calling him corporate, saying he was out of touch with the streets, and even accusing him of being soft.
First of all, let's get right to it. There seems to be some drama. You and The Rock, Jay-Z, you try to diss. You did diss him. I just nobody. You dissed him. I dissed Michael Jordan. Oh man, we just there's no drama, man. No, we're gonna get to that. Shouts to Dame Dash, who started Rockefeller Records. If y'all don't know, he's responsible for Rockefeller getting off the floor that started in Harlem. You know what I'm talking about?
Jim made sure people knew he stood on loyalty and staying real. He even took shots at rappers who turned snitch, making it crystal clear where he stood on that.
They're hustling like they need to, you dig? And they ain't keeping it funky like they used to. So I don't understand. Maybe scared to hustle because snitches so much. Maybe that's just what's going on. I would be scared to hustle too when I know that every other snitching just so he don't want to do no time because he's can't bear to be inside the jail system. Now the to say not nothing to brag about when I was coming up. Kind of happy to go to jail to say they did something tough, even though I never been behind the walls myself. But my I be around, there used to be a bragging point like I just came home at. That was when we was young. Nowadays, you punks are scared to go in and do the damn thing.
At first, Jay didn't clap back. He played it cool and kept quiet. But everyone in the industry could feel the tension bubbling over inside Rockefeller. Then came 2006, and Jim dropped We Fly High. The track was everywhere. It blew up the streets and the charts. That's when Jay finally decided to bite back. He came out with a remix called Brooklyn High, using the same beat to fire back at Jim.
Brooklyn get tape up, no big things. We chase around, they all ball gang, it's over for you lames. Give me back the chain, it's over for you dang.
But Jim wasn't done. He came right back with another version of We Fly High, a beef mix. And this time, he went directly at Jay. He clowned Jay for being older, calling him an old head and sending brutal shots with bars like, I told your old to chill, better slow down before your old get killed. Yeah, he really said that. Then in 2008, the beef left the booth and hit real life. Security footage caught Jim getting physical inside a Louis Vuitton store. And guess who the other guy was? Jay-Z's longtime A&R, Lenny Santiago. Jim got arrested for it. No ducking that one. He ended up pleading guilty to misdemeanor assault. This wasn't just rap beef anymore. This was real tension spilling over into the streets. Jay-Z never said much about that Louis Vuitton incident, but a few months later, he definitely threw shade. In an interview with XXL, Jay took shots at Jim, and he didn't hold back. He said tracks like Jim's Na Na were exactly the kind of stuff dragging hip-hop culture down. Jay said straight up, I mean like Jim Jones, for example. And I don't mean this just because we don't see eye to eye. He made Na 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 Na. Then he clowned the whole track, comparing it to Smiley Face by Trey Songz and Soulja Boy. Jay said Na Na could have easily been called Smiley Face too. Pure disrespect. After that, the beef cooled down for a minute, but not for long. In 2015, Dipset came back swinging with a freestyle over Diddy's classic Victory beat. Cam and Jim took more shots at Jay and Rock Nation, clowning the Rock Nation brunch and calling Jay soft and too caught up in the corporate world. But then things flipped hard. Out of nowhere, Jim Jones switched lanes and started begging Jay to sign him. Fast forward to February 2017. After over a decade of beef, Jim officially signed with Rock Nation and joined Jay's camp.
Now it looks like another former rival will be relying on Ho's team to steer his career, as Dip says Jim Jones is allegedly heading over to Rock Nation. Capo posted a picture of bottles of Douce and Ace of Spades next to a Rock Nation letterhead on IG and told fans to caption this.
That move had everyone talking, and Jim didn't keep it low-key either. Not at all. He started flexing about being invited to the same Rock Nation brunch he used to diss. Now he was praising Jay in public, acting loyal, posting pics like the beef never happened. But Jay, stone cold silence. He barely acknowledged the deal. No post, no welcome, no public support. It was clear he was keeping it strictly business. No friendship, no bonding. Now here's where it gets real sneaky. Some folks believe that Jay didn't sign Jim out of love. It was a chess move. People been saying for years that Jay-Z has a strategy. Instead of fighting his rivals, he brings them in close. Just to control the game. Just look at the locks. Fat Joe, J. Cole, and Meek Mill. All of them had beef or tension with Jay-Z at one point, but somehow they all ended up under Rock Nation. So when it came to Jim Jones, it wasn't too surprising that Jay signed him too. But even after bringing Jim into the fold, Jay kept his distance. No close ties, no public love. So what was that about? Was Jay just protecting his image because of Jim's name being linked to that whole Tekashi wiretap situation? Or was there something deeper going on? Here's where things get real complicated. Jay's whole anti-snitch persona might be just a performance, because guess what? His right-hand woman, Desiree Perez, the president of Rock Nation, is a documented federal informant. That's facts.
Remember when Jay-Z said this?
I think we've passed kneeling.
Let me play it again. This time, look at the reaction of the lady sat just behind him. The reason why she's worried about how Jay would respond is because she's the CEO of Rock Nation. But in her former life, she was a federal informant. In 1994, Desiree Perez was arrested for bringing in 35 keys of Griselda Blanco into Miami. Under pressure, she agreed to wear a wire for the DEA. Quick side note, Desiree Perez is the name Dame Dash refused to say in this Breakfast Club interview.
Once a has certain friends, we don't even talk about them no more where I'm from.
Now, around that same time, Jay-Z and Perez spearheaded Rock Nation's prison reform initiative with Meek Mill. I guess their hard work paid off, because on the 19th of January 2021, this list was released. Desiree Perez's criminal past had just been wiped clean by the outgoing president, Donald Trump.
So if Jay's cool doing business with someone who's officially an informant, why would he turn his back on Jim over just rumors? That's when the whispers started. What if Jay-Z has been playing both sides all along? Maybe it's never been about loyalty. Maybe it's all about control, keeping his enemies close just so he can pull the strings when it suits him. Let's be real. Jay didn't need Jim but Jim. He needed Jay bad. And when Jim's name came up in those wiretaps, Jay did what he always does best and protect the brand at all costs. Maybe he wasn't even mad that Jim might have cooperated. Maybe he was mad Jim wasn't cooperating for him. Now that opens up a whole new question. What kind of empire is Roc Nation really building?
The head of Roc Nation, Desiree Perez.
Good evening, everyone.
I say shout out to Desi. Shout out to Desi. She got me out the contract.
Roc Nation.
Okay. Yeah, shout out to Desiree.
Okay.
You know about this?
Nah.
Desiree Perez became a cooperating witness for the DEA in the 1990s. She got arrested in 1994 for possession of 35 kilos of cocaine.
Desiree Perez and the whole wicked system of Roc Nation, including you, Jay-Z.
Yes. Yes.
You who say you rose from the gutter.
If you're loving the tea, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. We want to know what you think about this whole situation. Share it with someone who needs to hear the truth, and we'll see you in the next one.